came, when I understood why we needed them extra pages, because that was the end of the story. That was a false ending. And then the true ending came? Oh, well done, Vanessa. Hello, unicorns. I'm Tiffany, there's Angelica, and we are back with another video. In this video, I'm just going to go through my recent reads, and in particular, I have been reading a lot of YA fantasy, because this year, there's a lot of YA fantasy being released, and all of them are speaking my name. They're calling me, they're like, Tiffany, come read me, I've got a little something for you. So I did what any good book lover will do. I picked them up. Okay, so the first book we're going to be discussing in my little bit of a wrap-up will be It Waits in the Forest. So in It Waits in the Forest, we follow a girl called Selena, a young woman who's living in the island of St. Virgil, and she's just trying to make ends meet. Now in this book, we have a lot of Caribbean folklore present, and this is the #1 reason why I picked this book up. Let's be honest, representation is key. So Selena, she runs an Obaya shop, and she doesn't believe in supernatural. She doesn't believe in the supernatural element, but she does make money of tricking gullible tourists into believing that she can give fortune, that she has a supernatural ability that gives them good luck. And what she does with it, like she peddles charms, she's like a fortune teller, she gives them charms, gives them luck potions and things like that. Then one day a tourist comes into the shop because he believes he's being stalked by a supernatural entity, and he wants a way to get rid of this supernatural presence in his life. So he comes to the shop, he pays an extraordinary amount of money to get this curse lifted from him, and Selena does what Selena's gonna do. She tricks him into believing that she's caused his problem. Next thing she knows, some other tourist turns up dead on the island that she's on, and they're connected to this man that came in her shop trying to get rid of this cursed demon spirit that's been floating around. And now Selena, she's trying to uncover what happened. She's trying to uncover the truth of it, because if it turns out that if people realise that she cheated one of these murder suspects with this murderer, if she cheated them before he died, she becomes a suspect. So she's trying to figure it out, and it turns into a murder mystery. Now, this book has some key phrases for me. Obviously, we have the Caribbean folklore, Caribbean myths and histories, and we also got a bit of a murder mystery. That checks 2 of my boxes. I wanted to read it, and that's what I did. So let me tell you my thoughts on this book. So what this book does well is that it's great at building atmosphere. It's great at building anticipation, because we don't know what is true, what is false, because we're in the head of our main character, Selena, who obviously does not believe in the supernatural. So as readers, we're thinking, is this a supernatural entity that is causing these murders, or is it something else? Now, what I have to say going into this, which I'm actually grateful for, is that this is not a horror book. It has tidbits of horror element because you don't know who the murderer is, but it's not a creature feature. There's not some kind of supernatural creature in the background that's causing these murders and you're going to have jump scares, because that don't do it for me. But what we do have in this book is a second chance romance, and I have to say, for a YA book, I don't appreciate a second chance romance. I mean, like, why you need a second chance for? You ain't lived your life yet. Shut up, go sleep. But this book does second chance romance well, because the reasons for the romance to come back around and the reasons why their relationship ended, it was justifiable. It felt rooted in reality, in the context of the story. What I wouldn't recommend is the audiobook. I mean, I read this at the beginning using audio, then I had to switch to a physical read, because the island where the story takes place is on St. Virgil, which is inspired by the Caribbean island of Tobago, but the accent that the narrator uses just felt like an offshoot of English, Irish, fake Caribbean accent. I didn't like it. It wasn't resonating with my ears. So I just thought, you know what, this narrator has taken me out of the story, let me read it physically, and it improved my experience with this book tenfold. So if you want a light-hearted, well, it's not really light-hearted, but if you want a light on the horror, murder, mystery, whodunit-esque type of fantasy story with Caribbean undertones and a bit of a second chance romance, I highly suggest you give this book a go. It was a pleasant read. The next book we're going to discuss is Sing Me to Sleep by Gabi Burton. Now, 2 words, Black Mermaid. Black Mermaid, immediately I'm gonna read it, because if I wasn't a mermaid in my future self, no, if I wasn't a mermaid in my past life, then something must have gone wrong, okay? Even though I can't swim now, I feel like I've done something bad in the past that made me not be able to swim now, but I felt like I should have been a mermaid, okay? Your mojo would have been my goddess and everything. So what Sing Me to See is about? This book is about a girl called Saroche. I don't know how you're meant to say this girl's name. I feel like it's one of them Irish names that's spelled one way and pronounced completely different. So I'm not going to say it. I'm going to call her S. I'm going to call her S because it begins with an S. So this book is about a girl named S who has to keep her identity hidden. So in this world, we are in, obviously it's a fantasy world, but in this particular city that we're in, all fantasy creatures have been kicked out or dead. You're not allowed to exist if you're a fantasy creature. And if you are like a, not even a mermaid, like a fairy, a witch or whatever, if anything but non-human, you basically a slave or a servant and treated badly. So S is the last mermaid. All her kind has been killed off. So she is in hiding as one of the humans, and what she does is by day she trains as a soldier. She's fighting to move up the ranks of the army, and by night she works as an assassin. And oh, let me tell you, this girl she's a 17-year-old girl in the book, yeah, and she be killing people left, right and center. Now she ain't killing people because that's what she likes to do, she's a murderer. No, it's because she's a mermaid, she's a siren, and you know these mermaids need to be killing people to sustain themselves. I loved it, I loved it, I loved it. Sorry, I did say humans. No, it isn't humans. Humans are not the top of the food chain in this book. It's Fae. I don't know why it's called humans, but Fae sit at the top, okay? So the Fae killed off the mermaid. But anyway, read the book and you get the right contents. There's a whole heap of different people up in this book. It's all good. So what happens is that S goes to work for the royal family. She wins the competition and she becomes one of the soldiers hired to protect the prince. Now the prince seemingly knows who she is, who her real identity is. He knows that she is not a fae, but instead it's a mermaid. But this is not revealed. Is that a spoiler? But he's intrigued by her. He's allured by her. Now, premise of the book, fantastic. The writing, the prose, fantastic. I loved it. My only gripe, my only issue is that she is a 17-year-old girl. And it felt uncomfortable reading her seduction scene, because I don't want to imagine any little pick-me girl being seductive, being seduced. I mean, I thought that if you aged your character up a bit to be at least 21, I would have been put at ease. But 17, you're a minor. You shouldn't be trying to be seductive and seducing nobody. Okay. However, what Gabi Burton does, I mean, it is a fine line to walk on for your particular taste. She doesn't make her overly sexual. She doesn't make her overly uncomfortable. Gabi Burton, the way she writes the character, the way she describes the scene, although it isn't innocent per se, it's not graphic. Okay, it's not graphic. It could be taken or it could be read as scenery as sweet if she wasn't murdering people, because she a killer. What I did like was the chemistry between S and the prince. There was a perfect balance of push and pull. It wasn't, oh, I love you as soon as I saw you. It wasn't, oh, pining, and it wasn't like angsty, you know, to the extent where I just want to pull it down. No, there was a balance there, which I thoroughly enjoyed. From the first chapter, it was fast paced. It was go get them. There's always action, and I don't think in this book there was a page wasted. There was a word wasted. Each plot point, each time you're reading, is adding more to the story. Now, what S is trying to do, she's being blackmailed into working for the prince and trying to uncover this secret because somebody is blackmailing her to reveal her identity to the fake king that she could get murdered. So we have that little mystery element underneath. Then we have the other mystery, figuring out what happened to the mermaid, because we're told that they've all been killed off. But there's a big bubble around this city, so we don't know what's happening on the outside. We don't know what kind of fantasy creatures are living out there. So that's a big whole little what's going on, what's in it. And I feel like that little world building element has got me so intrigued for book 2, because I want to know more, okay? And going by this first book, going by how Gabi Burton does her prose, does her pacing, develops her characters, I'm really excited to read the second book in the series. Now, I think that is called Drowning in Dreams. I'm seeing a pattern. Sing Me to Sleep and Drowning in Dreams. I'm liking it. I think that book should have been out already or coming out this year sometime. I don't know. I should have checked. So the next book I want to discuss is The Last BLOODCARVER by Vanessa. Now, The Last BLOODCARVER, again, another YA. Again, it's hitting point. I think I might be a new YA reader. So The Last BLOODCARVER follows Nahia, who is, as the title suggests, the last BLOODCARVER. Or is she? So the BLOODCARVERs are basically supposedly cold-hearted beings that carve up human bodies, that know biology, and that kill people on sight. Okay, so that's what society believes what BLOODCARVERs does, but actually what they really are, they're healers. Okay, they are acquainted with human biology and they are able to heal people better than any doctors can. But they have been run out of town. They've just been like, you know what, we don't want you around. If I see you, we're gonna kill you. So Nahia, I don't know how you, again, character name, shoved in the audio, my bad. But anyway, she is the last BLOODCARVER and she is trying to hide her abilities, but then she gets caught trying to heal somebody. It was a trap for her. So she gets caught and then she is sold off to a noble house. And they want to use her ability to help her so she can help them solve the murder of their father, because there's only been one witness. One witness has been left alive, but he's on his deathbed. So she needs to figure out a way to save him. The only hitch is, because BLOODCARVER has been outlawed, because they're killing off people, Nahia has not been able to hone her ability. She's not been able to learn her craft. So therefore, healing this person is very troubling for her. She doesn't know what to do. Hence, when she goes to this noble house, she can read all the books that they've gathered, she can get to history, she can develop her skills. So this book has got a rivals to lovers type of love story going on between Nahia and one of the members of higher society. He tries to help her, she's just like, nah, I don't want your help. And there's also the murder mystery element to the book of trying to figure out who killed the noble people that hired her, who killed their daddy. So all of that is blended together and fused in. But then also, what I find that this book did well, they highlighted two different diasporas in one story. So there's Nahia and Kutchin. They are two different people altogether, but they are two different people, but they come from the same place and they have vastly different experience. While Nahia was hunted, she had to hide her secret, she had to protect herself. Kutchin was able to thrive. Okay, he was able to, even though he's still technically hidden, he was able to do the research and develop his blood carving abilities. And because they grew up in two different ways, they have two different outlooks on what blood carving is and what they can do. And that just makes an interesting dynamic, especially because you're thinking you two are basically the same people. It's just where you come from, you have different outlook. One person values blood carving, the other one sees it as a tool and knows it's degrading. I like that juxtaposition that this book does. And also, as again, there's a bit of a murder mystery. Now, I thought I solved it. I thought I solved the murder mystery at the end. I thought I knew who killed your daddy. It's obvious. And I had about, 100 odd pages left in the book? No, I was wrong. They flipped the script on me, and that's what I love about a bit of a murder mystery. I like when you flip the script and you reveal something at the end, and it makes sense. And I just didn't see it. And I was excited. I was flipping them pages like, oh, what happened? How did we get here? And then when that true ending came, when I understood why we needed them extra pages, because that was the end of the story. That was a false ending. And then the true ending came. Oh, well done, Vanessa. And it's a duology. So now I know when the second book comes out, that's it. And hopefully it comes out next year. I'm thinking I should look it up. I can't be bothered. But again, The Last BLOODCARVER is a good read. It's a breezy read, okay? So I would suggest you pick it up. So the next book and the last book that I want to discuss in this video is The Poisons We Drink. Okay, so The Poisons We Drink follows Venus, who is a witch, who's been brewing illegal love potion, and this is all in order to support her family. So her mother has been killed and she's the only one left to support her family and her younger sister. But that's not all she wants. That's not all what this Miss Venus wants. What she also desires is revenge. She wants to get revenge on the people that murdered her mother. What was different about this book is that it was set in Washington DC, and it didn't have that fantasy world building narrative of a background. But that's why, and that did take me a while for me to connect with the story, because if I'm reading fantasy, I mostly like second world fantasies. I don't like our world fantasy. So it didn't really fully capture my attention until 40% in. Now, I'm not saying it was a bad book throughout the first 40%. I just wasn't as gripped as I should have been. But after that 40% took off, I was invested. That is when the action for me really kicked up the notch, and I was so interested in Venus being able to get her revenge. Now, that's what I like. There wasn't a lot of focus on the romantic element in this book, and I appreciated that. It was just my girl using her powers, getting revenge, finding out who murdered her mother, and just taking names and kicking their butt. And especially what I thought was done well in this book is that we're getting the history of the witches, we're getting the introduction to the society of witches, but we're also getting the narrative of the political intrigue, what's happening or what would happen around the metropolitan of the DC area. So we're having those two worlds combine and clash, and I thought that melded together really well. I did listen to this via Audible, and I have to say that narrator did an excellent job. There was she had distinct voices for each character that a part of me felt like, are these more than one narrator doing this book? And her voice was so animated, and it just went well with the action that was portrayed on the page. So if you were going to pick up The Poison We Drink, I would highly suggest picking up the audiobook. So that's it, guys. That's it for me today. Those are some of the YA fantasy books I've been reading, and I'm thoroughly surprised by them, because usually YA is not what I pick up, but these YA books are making me want to get back into that era. Okay, maybe they're just outliers, I'm not sure, but we're gonna still see. We're still gonna be reading them, and I'll let you know if there are any more YA picks I think are worth your time. If you do like this video, please remember to like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments below any of your most recent fantasy reads that you feel like I need to pick up too. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you at the next one.